Today on Polar Ice Creamery, we are going to look at Dondurma, which is Turkish ice cream, the stretchy stuff that you see vendors play around with elsewhere on the internet. So come with me on this really weird ice cream journey. So why is it weird? It's not really weird. It's just the internet seems to do a lot of things right and wrong. That's where, we're all here to learn and be entertained. But this is a really difficult one because Western countries don't have this style of ice cream, or haven't until recently, when certain parts of the world have had Turkish ice cream introduced to them. Ontario has got some, London's got it. I'm sure there's, something in the US as well. And what makes Turkish ice cream unique is its stretchiness. It has a very unique texture. And what we're going to do today, which is a part one, because there's a lot to talk about in this subject, is we're going to talk a little bit about the history of this Turkish ice cream, what we're going to use to make it, what we're not going to use to make it, what on earth this stuff is, and probably drink some of this at the same time. Turkish ice cream, also known as dondurma, which means ice cream or freezing depending on which part of Turkey you come from, has a rich history that dates back centuries. Its origins can be traced to the time of the Ottoman Empire, but the exact details of its creation are not well documented, but it is believed to have been influenced by Persian and Arab ice cream traditions. Traditionally, Turkish ice cream is made using a combination of milk, sugar and salep, which is a flour made from the root of wild orchids. Salep gives Turkish ice cream a unique texture and elasticity. The mixture is then flavoured with various ingredients such as mastic resin or rose water, which can add a very distinct taste. Ice cream vendors, known as dondurmaki, often perform entertaining tricks and stunts while serving the ice cream itself. They use long paddles to stretch and pull the ice cream, creating a show for their customers. This playful interaction has become a characteristic feature of Turkish ice cream culture. So now we have a bit of a history or background of Turkish ice cream. Let's talk about a few things. One, this here is not the orchid root salep. I'm going to absolutely muller some of the pronunciations in this video and the next, which is the part 2 video, by the way. So apologies if you're in Turkey, doing my best. This is a starch pudding drink, which is served in the winter, and is not the salep powder, the orchid root powder that you would use in the dondurma. This is mastic resin. I managed to get this in a Mediterranean supermarket in Calgary. This actually came from the Greek section. So there's a lot of crossover between Greece and Turkey relating to some of these ingredients, mastic and salep powder itself. This is gold dust. This is the salep powder. This came from Turkey. I have a lot of Turkish followers and subscribers on this channel, so thank you for, you know who you are that sent me this. It's not easy to get hold of. If you can, it is incredibly expensive. So we're very lucky to have this here today. And Turkish coffee. I'm not going to go into too much detail about Turkish coffee because this isn't a coffee channel, but maybe in the next video, in the part 2, I'll talk a little bit more detail about Turkish coffee and why it's different, because Turkish coffee is often served with something sweet on the side, usually Turkish Delight or another sweet treat, but maybe we'll talk about that in part 2. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. So you look online, you want to make Turkish ice cream. There are a million different recipes trying to imitate that stretchiness, trying to imitate that really unique thing that salep powder does. I've tried a lot of them, but over the, 4 months, 5 months, I found one alternative recipe that uses a combination of stabilizers, which we're going to talk about in part 2. Part 1, we're going to make traditional Turkish ice cream. So let's get on and make Turkish ice cream using Salep root powder, so orchid root powder, and mastic resin to flavor it. We've got everything here we need. What are we gonna need? We are gonna need 600 grams of goat milk, 200 grams of cream, 150 grams of sugar, 3 grams of ground mastic, and 15 grams of our Salep ground Turkish orchid root. So one of the channel's followers gave me some great background in how his mum and grandmother used to make this for him, and he said that they didn't heat this at all. So that's what we're gonna do. Straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Let's just roll with it. So we're gonna do this all in real time. So what do we need? Goat's milk, which is incredibly expensive. I don't even know what this, I don't know what goat's milk tastes like. Tastes just like normal milk. It's quite high fat, I think. It's tasty. High fat. How much fat is there? Per 1 cup, for God's sake. 9 grams of fat. So, you know, 3%. It's not too high. It's normal. Anyway, enough talking. 600 grams of goat milk, 200 of cream, come on, 150 of sugar. What I'm gonna do is take that off, and I'm gonna put the remaining 15 grams in here. Mastic and Salep. We can do 15 grams in here. And finally, we need 3 grams of our ground mastic. Okay. How much is in this? 1 gram. Whew. Okay. Right, we're gonna grind this up. We're gonna put all of that in there and just put it together. Apparently that stops the mastic going too sticky, because it's basically just gum, and mastic has been chewed as a chewing gum for years. I mean, you know, a seriously long time. Put this in here, and we are going to whisk it for 2 minutes. We want to make sure that that sugar is dissolved and there's no powder. So we're going to run your spoon along the bottom of the bowl. Use the back of the spoon against the side, and that will tell you if there's sugar undissolved. Anyway, I think we've got it all. Tastes nice. All right. We're now going to cover that and put that in the fridge for 1 hour. Okay, ice cream out the freezer. Tiny whisk. Well, it's definitely thickened. Let's get this in here. Right, with the last, in a normal ice cream, you'd probably keep going for another 5 minutes or something like that on the churn. But, because this is something a bit different, we're at this kind of stage, look. It's keeping its shape. And I can hear the machine starting to, or the ice cream starting to thicken up by the change in the tone of the machine. So we're on to the next stage. Got my stand mixer. In the freezer I've got the bowl. The bowl is a ceramic bowl. What we're going to do is we're going to get that out, and I've got the beater in the freezer as well because it's made of metal. And we're going to transfer this almost frozen or partly frozen ice cream into that, and we're going to whip it. We're going to beat it for 2 minutes. All right, so let's turn that off and get everything else ready. I mean, it's winter now here in Canada, so it's minus 17. It was colder than that this morning. Let's get ready. Actually, I'll probably put that on after. Wish me luck. Move that out the way, make sure it doesn't fall off. Only so many plugs. And let's go. Look at my phone and show you what I can see. Interesting. Right, well, there we go. Let's get this into our container, get it in the freezer. Something to remember is that the ice cream that the vendors sell and serve in these, Turkish ice cream parlors, it isn't at the same temperature as the ice cream straight out of your freezer. Much in the same way that gelato is served slightly warmer, that's why it's a little bit softer, a little bit more pliable. So what I've done is this has come out of the freezer about 15 minutes, and I'm trying to recreate the pounding that they do with these tools. They're like it's like a mallet, if you will. They beat the ice cream to soften it and to increase the stretchiness. So I don't have one of those. I'm sure you don't either. So you get it to a point where it's just starting to become malleable, and just work it. Work it for about 5 minutes, and then what we'll do is I can see it's already, here we go, look. What have we got? Stretchy ice cream. So what do? They serve it up in an ice cream cone. Let's get one, shall we? Walmart special. This is, look at it, it gets to the right temperature and suddenly it starts to make sense. Difficult to do a thumbnail with this stuff. All right, first things first, I think you'll agree we've pretty much nailed the stretchiness. Look at that. So indicative of serving temperature, I don't know, likely somewhere around the -10 something. That will help activate the mastic, which will make this stretchy. The Salep, or however you want to pronounce it, That is the stabilizer. You can taste the rootiness of it, but it's certainly not a bad flavour. It's got notes of cinnamon, kind of like a touch of vanilla in there. Texture-wise, it's kind of what you'd expect. It's a little bit gummy. It's quite smooth. There's not a lot of ice crystals in there, which is good. I think if you added something, you know, like vanilla or pistachio or something like that to this, it'd be really, really nice. So, Turkish ice cream, made the traditional. I'm not going to say made the traditional way. Made with traditional ingredients. And next week we're gonna make a modernist version of this without the Salep and Mastic. So, if you want to see how we get on with that, stick around, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.